Hey Steelers fans, I'm Thomas Mott. Welcome into our Steelers Talk YouTube channel as we get into the latest Steelers news and rumors. First though, and there's some interesting stuff happening a little bit later in today's video, make sure you guys are subscribed for our upcoming Steelers mailbag video. If you want to be a part of that, subscribe down below. And go to below, use the hashtag Steelers to ask any question you could possibly want regarding your Pittsburgh Steelers, and more than likely, I'll pull the best 6, 7, 8 questions for a mailbag video coming up in the next couple of days. You gotta be subscribed to get in on our mailbag. All right, it's going to jump into the latest Pittsburgh Steelers news and rumors here on a Tuesday, and we have some, I guess you'd call some breaking news, not necessarily like huge breaking news, but it does come from ESPN's Adam Schefter, and that is the fact that Joe Haden officially wants a new contract and is looking to go ahead and possibly retire as a Pittsburgh Steeler. We'll show you the tweet here in just 1 second, but as he enters the final year of his deal, Haden, of course, thinking about the future, as, kind of forget, he's a veteran in the National Football League, right? I mean, he came over to Pittsburgh a couple of years ago, but also played in the Cleveland for 7 years. I mean, the guy, you feel like he's still a young cornerback, and in reality, he is not a young cornerback, and probably wants to sign one more contract before officially retiring from the National Football League. So, he wants to finish his career with the Steelers. He wants a new deal. Here was ESPN's Adam Schefter on the official report and tweet just a couple of hours ago after filming this video. Quote, Drew Rosenhaus, agent for Steelers Pro Bowl cornerback Joe Haden, has approached the team regarding an extension for his client, who is now going in the last year of his contract. Quote, Joe wants to finish his career with the Steelers if possible, Rosenhaus said this morning, end quote. So, again, this looks like it's going to happen, hopefully. Kind of the idea there in the Steel City would be to go ahead and lock him up for the foreseeable future. That way you're locked in at least one side of the cornerback spot going into 2022 and presumably 2023. Now, Pro Football Focus has an interesting quote here on Joe Haden, an update on this story. We'll throw that up on the screen. Quote, quarterback Joe Haden would like to see it stay open long enough for him to net an extension that keeps him at Pittsburgh beyond the coming season. Haden is in the final year of a 2-year contract extension. He signed with the team in 2019 and told Mark Kaboyle, that's how you say his name, of theathletic.com, that he'd like to remain with the Steelers in 2022, but he knows that others are in line ahead of him. Hayden said linebacker T.J. Watt's deal is the main priority, and also know that safety Minkah Fitzpatrick is in line for a new contract. Hayden knows that getting everything done with the start of the season may be too much to ask, end quote. So, a lot going on there in terms of what, Joe Haden is trying to do in terms of getting a contract, but he seems team-oriented and focused on the fact that Hayden's new deal would be tricky and is tricky. Like, let's just be real, and I think Pro Football Talk broke this down very, very well. Okay, signing Haden is one thing. He's an aging cornerback. He's definitely diminished in terms of overall production. And there's an NFL draft class coming up in 2022 you might not know about that is heavy at the cornerback spot. Like a couple years ago, it was the wide receiver draft. And then there was the quarterback draft, the Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold draft, the Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson one. This coming year is the cornerback draft because they are some incredible cornerbacks. There's a great one out of LSU. There's one at Clemson. There's one at Ohio State. There's a bunch of corners that are going the first round. So the thought process here, do you want to re-sign Haden or do you want to go ahead and spend your first round draft pick on a cornerback? Now, do you need a quarterback if Big Ben retires? These are all questions that have yet to be seen, hence why I'm saying that Haden's new deal is tricky. Also, as Haden himself said, T.J. Watt is the main priority right now. The fact they don't have that deal done yet, it's not concerning as of like, ooh, we're really freaking out, but that deal needs to get done. And then Minkah Fitzpatrick, who is a younger, better overall player at a better position. I mean, as a cornerback versus safety, either way, Minkah deserves a deal before Joe Haden. And so Haden, I think, coming out and saying, hey, I want to get a new deal done. I want to be a Steeler for life. I want to go ahead and retire as Pittsburgh Steeler, but I also understand my place in line and my place on the totem pole is good news for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So you have all these guys with upcoming deals, and you just think that Joe Haden might get pushed back a little bit, and as he said, he might not be, ready in time to start the season with that new deal. Besides him, of course, Haden and Minkah Fitzpatrick. What about Big Ben Roethlisberger? Like, is Big Ben going to go ahead and need a new deal after this year? Is he going to retire after this year? These are all questions that need to be seen and need to be heard and need to be answered if you are the Pittsburgh Steelers front office. So, the news again today, Haden wants a new deal. Hopefully, we get a new deal, because I'm fine with signing him. You just got to decide if you want to re-sign him, draft a cornerback next year, or put your focus in on Watt or Minkah Fitzpatrick, which I think will all be done in due time. The question is when and not if. Now, ask you guys this. Who deserves a new deal first? Is it Joe Haden or is it T.J. Watt? Type JH down below for Joe Haden. Type TJ down below for T.J. Watt. I think most of us would say T.J. Watt because the guy is like an absolute monster. But I do think Haden's going to get a new deal. Just a matter of waiting on the right money to be given to him, as, of course, teams will go back and forth with the player, agent, and then, of course, the front office will wait and see. But give me your thoughts on who deserves a new deal first down below in the comment section. Again, make sure you guys are subscribed to the Steelers Talk YouTube channels. We are trying to grow as quickly as possible, approaching 5,000 subs. We're like brand new here, and the main goal is to give you guys the latest and greatest Steelers news and rumors. If you like the channel, if you like me talking about the Steelers, give you guys up to date on the Steelers in a nice condensed video format, then go down below and hit that red subscribe button. It is one of the few places you can go where you only get Steeler news. You can't go to ESPN and get nonstop Steeler news because they got to cover all the rest of the NFL teams. So subscribe here for your one-stop shop regarding your Steel City Pittsburgh Steelers. All right, so Big Ben's diet has been brought up a lot, and we talked about it about 3 weeks ago when he reported to training camp because the news was out. He had told the media for the first time that he's on a diet and he's trying to be healthier, and everyone freaked out. And then we took pictures of him as he arrived at training camp, and it was like, okay, is he thinner? We debated that. Here's the deal. Big Ben finally spoke to the Washington Post in depth about his new fitness regime and about his new diet plan, and it feels like Big Ben is really focused in on not only being healthy for this season, but potentially being healthy for a 2022 run if he decides to go ahead and come back. I feel like he has stayed healthy relatively to his age, being 39 years old, but I think there needs to be some improvement from last year based on what we saw at the latter parts of the year. Now, here was Big Ben and what he told to the Washington Post, quote, I mean, listen, as you get older, the last 4 or 5 years, I've really focused on having a trainer, my body. Part of it's football, part of it's life. I'm not getting any younger. I'm almost 40 years old. So you got to take care of yourself, and nothing against Tom Brady. I'm not eating avocado ice cream. Yeah, you have a chef, you try to eat healthy, but you're eating healthy because you want to be and feel good, end quote. So this is all good news. I think you take Big Ben, taking a shot at, Brady, and I'll jest, like, who likes avocado ice cream anyway, as the fun side of Big Ben. But I think this goes to a broader picture of the Steelers are underrated this year. And it's all because people are doubting Big Ben Roethlisberger. I was watching ESPN a couple days ago, and they were talking about teams that would be underachieving. And they mentioned the Pittsburgh Steelers, and of course the analyst, I forgot who it was citing the fact that Big Ben has taken some steps back in the past couple of years. And you go, okay, A, is that true? Like, did Big Ben have truly a terrible year last year? Wasn't the best, but it wasn't bad by any means. B, look at the rest of the roster. I mean, if you were to put Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen or just insert a decent quarterback onto this roster, this is a Super Bowl caliber roster, and it might be the best in the National Football League. Like, they are loaded at basically every single position except for offensive line. Maybe they're good this year in terms of an O-line, maybe they're not, who knows. But I think the Steelers are severely underrated, and it's all to the fact that people are doubting Big Ben. And I think if Big Ben can stay healthy, hence the reason why he's focused a little more on his diet and exercise and staying healthy, as we all should, if he can stay healthy and that arm strength is able to stay consistent through the course of the season, the Steelers are going to be just fine. They'll be a double-digit football team in terms of wins. Be right up there competing with the rest of not only their division, which is a lot better with Cleveland, Baltimore, and now Joe Burrow in Cincinnati, but of course the rest of the AFC as well. So good for Big Ben. I wouldn't eat avocado ice cream either, but I do want to stay focused on health. I think Big Ben is on the right path there in terms of having a good, maybe final year. Maybe not. Who knows? Okay, how many TDs will Ben throw this season? What do you think? It will be 25? Will it be 27? Will it be 30? Give me your exact number prediction for Big Ben touchdowns. Let me know what that is down below right now in the comments section. All right, a couple of quick training camp stories here to wrap our video up as we're running out of time. The Steelers have signed a guard, not anybody special. They're just trying to add an extra camp body in terms of getting ready for the Philadelphia Eagles preseason game. It'll take place on Thursday night in Philadelphia. We're going to see which starters are able to play. That's going to be a big question mark. Big Ben rested from practice on Monday. He was, just a healthy scratch. He's, like I said, 39 years old, so he gets days off. I'm very curious to see if he plays at all in Thursday's preseason game, because there are 3 left for the Steelers. He didn't play in the first one, obviously, is the Hall of Fame game. But when would you see Big Ben? If you see Big Ben in the preseason, could it be Thursday? We will see. Stephon Tuitt returned to practice on Monday. He was in pads today as well. The good news is Tuitt has missed a couple of practices there as he looks healthy and good to go, and there are questions if he will play in Thursday night's preseason game, but that seems to be a reoccurring thing. We don't know yet who's going to play in the preseason games and who will not play in the preseason games in terms of Thursday night, so stay tuned for possibly an update on that. And finally, James Washington went out of, I think it was Sunday's practice, because today's Tuesday. Yeah, Sunday's practice, he went out with a leg injury. People saw him with a wrap on his leg, and he was not at practice today, at least so far. It's early in the morning here on a Tuesday. Has not been at practice. So it's very interesting, the timing of this, after it was reported over the weekend that James Washington wants a trade. Is he actually injured? And if so, how would that impact his trade implications? Or is he simply just trying to, force a trade and force his way out of Pittsburgh? That is the real question right now. So keep an eye on James Washington. Again, out of practice with a leg injury, and it was in a wrap, so it seems like it's a legit leg injury, but was not out there either today. Thursday. We'll see if he goes the next couple of days here. We go in the Thursday preseason game. I mean, these are all, again, questions that are going to be answered here in the coming days and weeks. All right, ultimately for today here on our Pittsburgh Steelers Talk News and Rumor video. Again, I'm your host, Thomas Mott. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel as we try to continue to grow it. That way you can also get in on our mailbag video by going down below, using the hashtag Steelers, and asking any possible question that your heart could desire. Whatever you want to ask regarding your Steelers, go down below and ask it right now. Again, ultimately for today here on our video, I'm your host, Thomas Mott, signing off. Enjoy the rest of your day.